We are here with the second of our boys U18 Elite quarterfinals. The Utah Lions in blue kicking off against Upright Rugby in white. This is a rematch of pool play yesterday. Both of these teams coming out of Pool C. It was Utah that was victorious yesterday, 24-17, a close one-try affair. Earlier, we just saw the Atlantis U18s take on Harriman, winning by one try, 38-35. So they are the first team punching its way through to the Cup semifinal of this boys' elite action. Yesterday, this game was a highly contested affair. Again, a one-try difference between these two teams. If you were watching yesterday, they were both wearing white. So today, Utah's opted to wear the blues, and right now it is Upright Rugby on the attack. Their number 15 passing it off to their number 6. He's dancing his way up the sideline, but it is Utah Lions covering on the tackle. Number 14, Terrence Levy, one of two sets of twins with this Utah Lions program, and of course number 15, Colton Swap. Colton in the USA Scrum Cap yesterday had a phenomenal day. Right now it is Upright Rugby with a phenomenal run, striking first in this boys U18 Elite quarterfinal. That is a referee, David, not Derek, as we accidentally misspoke yesterday. Dave from California, wearing the pink jersey, calling all the action. Upright. These two U teams going to trick me up with my tongue, especially knowing both of these coaches and their teams so well. But it is Upright Rugby leading 7-0, 1 minute and 30 seconds into this first half of action. So this Upright Rugby team, based mostly in Ontario, Canada, traveling a bit light this weekend. They just competed last week in the Magnificent Sevens in Toronto. They were the champions. This Upright team traveling all around the world, playing in the Las Vegas Invitational as well with their juniors. Their senior men's team competing in Rugby Town Sevens in just a few weeks, actually going to be in the same pool as my own Stars Rugby Sevens program. We faced each other last year and faced each other in the LVI 2 years ago with our developmental teams. It is Upright again on the run. One of their two number 6s on the field. That's either Avery Oitman or Josiah Moran. If that was Avery, then Avery is their player that's been tapped by the U18s playing in the CRCs, the Canadian Rugby and Championships, which is a provincial championship, but it looks like it may have been their other number 6, Josiah Moran, with the try. The kick is good, and it is Upright up to an early 14-0 lead. Utah went 3-0 in their pool play action yesterday. This is not a position they found themselves in at all. Most of their matches leading from start to finish. So we'll see how they rebound and adjust and adapt, but that's the beauty of these tournaments. These are elite teams getting valuable development experience, being placed in different situations, and with this rematch, Upright coaches able to use strategy, make a couple lineup adjustments, and change their play. They're guided by Tyler Legat. He is their director of rugby. He is actually one of Canada's talent identification scouts. They run a large amount of camps with Upright. So they've been, as an organization, since 2007, but have been competing as a team for about the last 4 years. Teams across U16s, U18s, boys and girls, senior men. They're going to add senior women next year, and their women's team is certainly one of the more impressive teams yesterday. Right now we see Utah with a little bit of a chip down field, deploying some different tactics of their own, trying to make something happen. It is Upright doing well to pass the ball wide, completing the 20-meter pass out. I think that's one of their number 15s that was in on the action. And this Upright team, again, traveling light after competing in the Magnificent Sevens last weekend. So unfortunately, excuse me, I have to correct myself. They did lose the Cup final there to Bedford from the UK. That's one of the top programs. So a second place finish in Magnificent Sevens last weekend. But this weekend, they're borrowing a few players from California as well as from Utah. So we see a couple of different jerseys out there, still white in color, a couple of different team shorts out there as well. So these players coming together, adapting their styles of play, fantastic camaraderie, and they've said how much they enjoy this in tournament too. Now that some of these boys have played against each other week in and week out, or I should say, well, tournament in and tournament out, familiar with each other's style of play. This is another fantastic run. This is Avery Oitman. So he is the one that scored before. Thank you to the player on the sideline for the correction. Avery, again, one of the U18 CRC players. That was Keegan Barnes from Utah Lions on the chase, wearing that number 12 jersey. Keegan celebrating his 19th birthday just a few days ago. Will be playing his college ball at Central Washington this fall. One of a few recent graduates from this Utah Lions program. A lot of them going on to complete their LDS missions before moving on to college. So players like Colton Swap, who is at number 15 wearing the American flag scrum cap, will be completing his mission in Japan. His proud father, Eric Swap, one of the Utah Lions coaches, coaching this blue team, this elite team this weekend. Mike Kressler is coaching their open side this weekend. Both these teams traveled together to Europe and competed in the United World Games. It was the Utah blue team that came out on top. They took out the open team in the semifinal. So we see a couple of player changes coming from this Utah Lions side, putting in number 1, Ty Carlson, one of a couple of wrestlers on this team. Ty and his teammate Josh. Josh is on the open side. Josh was a Utah State wrestling champ. So they certainly bring some ferocity when it comes to tackles. So Utah attempting to move the ball. That is number 9, Alma Schoenfeld with a pass out wide. Alma recently tore his ACL, MCL, and his meniscus. We saw him training wearing quite a magical brace, almost looking like a RoboCop out there, the Terminator. If we're going to go with any nickname, that might be it. But doing well, and it keeps the ball alive. It is Utah Lions looking to score their first try of the match, currently trailing 21-0 to Upright. And the ball dotted down, number 13, Ty Kawhi. We have 1 minute left in action in this first half, so they might go rather quick on this kick. We'll see what they do if they can get another play, because we'd love to see them score another. They are the home crowd favorite, the hometown favorite. This is a program that draws its players from many different schools. We have players from Snow Canyon, players from United, players from quite a few of the different Utah high schools coming together to train with this academy. The kick is good, 21-7. That was Schoenfeld that we were talking about with his knee reconstruction. He's heavily taped up for playing in the matches. So slots a kick. It is 21-7. Upright Rugby leading the Utah Lions. So we'll see the kickoff here coming from Colton Swap. He was in number 15 yesterday. Looks like he's wearing number 10 today, so my apologies there. Good pressure here from the Utah Lions on the kickoff. We see the knock on. That was Keegan Barnes wearing the number 12 with the pressure. And we'll get the jersey check. That was number 14. Then Terrence Levy, again, 1 of 2 sets of twins. Terrence's brother Terrell playing on the open side. So time is up on the clock, but time for one last play according to our referee, Dave. And we'll see Alma Schoenfeld in the scrum half position with the put in. We see Colton Swap at fly half lining up straight behind the scrum. We may see a weak side play coming here, pending how the scrum goes. He is going to go strong out to to Ty Carlson, wearing that number 1. Ty with the awesome braids in his hair. Passing the ball off to Terrence Levy, wearing the number 14. Attempted a driving tackle out of this Upright Rugby side. Again, Upright Rugby, mostly Ontario-based, a few guest players, so we see these different jerseys from a few other Utah sides. And a nice intercept there from the number 3, but referee says no. There was a high tackle before. So this is, again, giving Utah another attacking opportunity. No time left on the clock. We are in the extras of this first half of play. So it'll be the tap and give from Keegan Barnes. A little bit of a missed pass over Alma Schoenfeld through the hands of Terrence Levy and going all the way out wide. Number 13, Ty Kawhi. He was at try-scorer before. We see Colton Swap calling for some help. There was a knock, though. And that is going to end the first half of play. It is Upright Rugby out of Canada leading the Utah Lions 21-7. 7 minutes yet to go in this Boys Elite U18 Cup quarterfinal. Thanks for that.
No problem.
That's huge. We're back here for the second half of action in this boys U18 Elite Cup quarterfinal. We have Upright Rugby from Canada in white kicking off to the Utah Lions in blue. It is Upright up 21-7. These teams played each other in pool play yesterday, and it was Utah Lions that won the match 24-17. Upright lost 2 of their games on the final play, so while they're 1-2, it doesn't nearly describe what this program is capable of, and we see this today with their 21-7 lead. Again, this is a team from Ontario mostly, and they run a large number of camps. The official development pathway with Rugby Canada. They currently have 4 players that are alumni of their program that are carded, which is the contracted players at their Olympic Training Center. But right now it is Utah Lions striking first to open up the half. This is Alma Schoenfeld. He had the conversion kick earlier after the try from Tai Koe, and now it's Alma with a try of his own. Super impressive given this young man just tore his ACL, PCL, and meniscus about 6 months ago and is playing heavily taped up with his knee, but it is not slowing him down. Quite a break down the sideline for the number 9 from the Utah Lions. It looks like he might get a break of water from kicking duties here, catch his breath and recover, and Colton Swap's going to take over. This brings Utah Lions within 21-12, pending the conversion kick right under the uprights. So it must have been a heck of a halftime speech from Colton's dad, Eric Swap, guiding this team. The kick is good. 21-14 is the score. It is this Utah Lions team that has organized this entire North American Invitational Sevens. This tournament started in 2011. It was then hosted at Rio Tinto Stadium, courtesy of Colonel Mark Drown. It was his brainchild, and it was an affair that was an all-Utah tournament at the time. It kind of fell off, and this is the revival of that tournament here 5 years later, now opening up to an international tournament as we see a border battle here between the Utah Lions and the Upright Rugby Rogues out of Canada.
Oh, here.
So earlier we saw the Atlantis U18 boys in the black kit book their place in the Cup semifinals. Still 5 minutes left in action in the game here to determine who's going to be coming out of this match. As a reminder, if there is a tie in the game, they will play extra time. And now it is Utah Lions looking to score again with the penalty. It is a tap and go from their big number 3, and it is Keegan Barnes that finishes the try. I apologize, I don't have a jersey number for the young man crashing the ball. It looked like it might have been Terrence Levy, but my eyes could have deceived me because I know Terrence is in the number 14 jersey. No matter, it is Keegan Barnes with the try. Keegan, a fantastically fit, dynamic player. He's going to be playing with the out of his senior men's team for the Rugby Rugby Town Sevens in 2 weeks in Denver, going to play his college rugby at Central Washington. The points are good. Colton Swap on the conversion, and it is indeed tied 21-21. So Utah Lions with 2 quick tries in the opening 2 minutes of this second half of action. We will see how Upright adjusts. We see a couple substitutions going on, a couple of adjustments. Again, Coach Tyler Leggett, a fantastic coach. He is doing so much for the development all over Canada. We had the chance to talk with Tyler and several of the Rugby Ontario crew over the course of the last couple of days. Had a big coaches meeting last night, too, to evaluate how the tournament's been going and what the plans are moving forward. Potential to potentially turn this into a multi-city circuit and get all these elite players more playing time, but of course more of that to come as it's confirmed. So here it is, Upright Rugby. That is one of their impact subs there. I think it was number 15 that had come onto the field. He was on earlier in the game. Looks like he may be one of the players that rotated on and off again, and it looks like it's a nearly all Upright team, just looking at the jerseys on the field right now. This is at number 6, Avery Oitman, again, the player that played in the U18 CRC, so the Canadian Rugby Championships, a provincial championship. He's got the steps and he's got the speed. It's Keegan with or sorry, not Keegan, but Ty Carlson wearing the number 1 for Utah Lions with a bit of a chase, preventing the try from scoring under the post in the center, making this conversion kick a bit more difficult, but this is the second try for young Avery. He's hoping to join a couple of their alumni. So we were speaking, there's a few carded players that have come from this Rugby Ontario program. We have John West, Riley DiNardo, Trent Cooper, Kyle Lagaska that are all carded players. That means that they are training out in Victoria with the Canada Sevens squad. Riley DiNardo, a notable player because he's captain the Maple Leafs, a fantastic player. So Riley, if you're watching, it's Liz and I say hello. It's always a pleasure seeing you. We'll see you a couple of weeks at Rugby Town Sevens. And then they've actually had a couple of their players get caps on the senior Canada team. Oddly enough, both props, Matt Tierney and DeJustice Sears Giroux. So with their camps and development work, these guys come together and they train for 8 months. They have different modules where they train during the week, and they get about 1 tournament per month, and then major tours every 3 months. They have over 48 players playing in their junior system. So the depth of this program showing itself as they're making a comeback here in the second half, currently leading 26-21 as a conversion was missed. And threatening yet again, and it is a penalty against this Rugby Utah team. We saw Nyanda Isaacs try to reach in, try to poach that ball from the ruck. The referee says no, and now it is a penalty to Upright. They're taking advantage so close to their goal line. And it is a diving try from number 20. Apologize, do not have a roster listing for him. But great effort by that Upright Rugby team to move the ball away from that penalty spot. We'll often see teams in 15s just tap that ball and go forward, trying to barrel their way in. Well, and not to much of the teams here, like a herd of rhinoceros. We have many Rhino teams at the tournament this weekend. But instead, it's the wisdom of Upright Rugby, passing that ball, finding the open space, playing good sevens, just good rugby in general. So we've seen many different try scores from this Upright Rugby team throughout the day and throughout the weekend. They are currently leading 31-21 pending this conversion kick. We have 1 minute and 20 seconds yet to go in the game. So sometime we can get a little bit of Fiji magic here out of a Utah team, but it's not going to be easy. This Upright outfit, a skilled team. So holding steady at 31-21. It'll be Upright, certainly taking a little bit of time as they set up for this kickoff as well. A little bit of gamesmanship, clock management from these higher level teams. We wait for a couple expert water carriers coming off the field. Some future Utah Lions, it looks. We see a deep kickoff from Upright, nearly getting ahead on the ball themselves. It was a good tip by the Utah Lions to get the ball back to his own squad. A couple of knock-ons in the ensuing play, and we are going to have a scrum down on the far side of the field. It is a Utah Lions scrum, 34 seconds left in the game. So the winner of this match will be the second team to book their way into the Boys Elite U18 Cup quarterfinals. On field 2 earlier, we did have Play Rugby USA and Eagle Impact take each other on in one of the other quarterfinals. We'll see if we can get a score update from field 2. The remainder of the game is going to be here on field 1 for our quarterfinal action. Up after this game is going to be the Celtic Barbarians, another Canadian side playing against the Atlantis U17s. So we have a scrum setting. The time on our scoreboard is up. It is up to referee Dave out of Northern California, refereeing in San Francisco area. Of course, keeping the final game time. It is Utah Lions with one last chance. And this is that number 1, Ty Carlson, weaving his way upfield, evading near the entire Upright team, and then passing it out wide. A beauty of a pass just through the hands of some of these Upright players. And that is Cody Jacobson on the attack, looking to fend off the chase from behind. That is Avery Oitman from behind. And we hear a penalty try. So in this scenario, referee Dave thought it was a clear try scoring opportunity. The high tackle prevented what would have been a sure try. So that means that we get a try under the post, a conversion kick in front of the post. We'll give that credit then to Cody Jacobson for that great breakaway downfield. Of course, it is a team try overall in these penalty situations. It's going to be Colton Swap on the conversion kick, and the game is going to end. A little bit of heartbreak for this local Utah team, falling 28-31 to the Upright Rugby Rogues out of Canada. We'll be back with our final Boys U18 Elite quarterfinal in just a moment. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back with more action with the North American Invitational Sevens.